Hey everyone, today on Lead Well, we're going to be talking about the leader as thinker, or leadership and thinking. You know, leadership is an intellectual activity. Many people think of action as the essence of leadership, but action is an overflow of one's thinking most often. And so this first step, this thinking step, is crucial to your eventual success or failure as a leader. And so very careful attention ought to be given to how you think and how you are to think. And so today, I want to walk through 5 primary steps of the thinking leader. So 5 primary steps. First, the thinking leader faces the facts. You face the facts. God has created us to know, and as rational creatures, we can understand, even if it's partial, reality around us. And so just like in our everyday lives, in leadership, we want to understand reality as it is. We want to know what's going well, what can be improved, what are we facing actually, how are things actually going. You know, history is filled with people who refuse to do this. You know, you can think of generals who refuse to admit that they'd been outmaneuvered, or different organizations and businesses who refuse to admit that their products were no longer being sold and refuse to change. And so knowing the facts is not all that there is in leadership, but this is the first step. You want to understand the facts, face the facts as they are. And this leads you then to lean into the truth. Lean into the truth. John 14:6, Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life. And as disciples of Jesus, we are to be lovers of truth. We are to be people marked by honesty and integrity, not by dishonesty or self-deception. We are not to lead people to be dishonest or deceiving to get a win or to get their way. But we are to be truth tellers in chief. We are to be people who embrace the truth, don't run away from it. Now, the Christian leader, we don't stop thinking once we have the facts and once we're leaning into the truth. This leads us then to apply the right principles. Apply the right principles. And these right principles are, as Christians, biblical principles. And so this is a very careful thinking, careful analysis kind of step. We lay out all of these ideas, these observations, and we pull them apart, think through, okay, what will lead us in the way that we want to go? And then we put all of them back together and we think through, okay, what are these alternatives? What are these principles? How do they apply? You know, this is a very crucial step. The captain of the Titanic was told that there were icebergs in the vicinity. And so he had the facts. What he lacked was the proper judgment in that moment. So he had the facts, but he did not apply the right principle in that moment. And so as the leader is guided by scriptural principles, they face the facts, they're leaning into the truth. That then leads them to acknowledge the alternatives. Acknowledge the alternatives. If the right answer were clear in every situation, there would be no point to have a leader. Leadership would be obsolete in many ways, but that's not the case, and we know that. And so the leader, at this point, acknowledges which direction is best. So how do we get from where we are to where we want to go? Is the best direction A, B, C, or D? And the wise leader lays out these alternatives and understands which gives them the best direction, which is the best path for them to take. And this leads all to the final step, which is making the right decision. Making the right decision. The most effective leaders make the right decision over and over and over again. And as they go through various experiences, they will gain credibility. Now, hear me say this. This does not mean that you're not going to make any wrong decision or any bad decision, but the thinking leader reflects, analyzes, seeks to understand, receive feedback so that they can make the right decision. So let me ask you, why can thinking in leadership, why can decision-making in leadership be so difficult for many? You know, all of us have examples of those who have exhibited poor leadership or others who have made decisions who they simply weren't confident in them. What's the solution to this? Well, I would encourage you to follow this process, follow this progression of thought. First, face the facts, then you lean into the truth, applying the right principles, acknowledging your alternatives, and all of this leads you to fifth and finally, making the right decision.